Hello, it's Stacey Holt from Real Estate Excellence. Thank you for joining me for this short video. I'm recording this on the 6th of February 2024, and it's just a bit of a backup in relation to some social media posts I've done since Sunday, an email out to our free industry mailing list Sunday afternoon, and also in relation to stage 2, just to clarify some matters that we're seeing through membership come through. Now, I'd never bore you or burden you, or never mean to, without believing that information I need to give to you is really important. Now, firstly, there's no legislation in Parliament. Nothing has changed. Secondly, we have known since November 2019 a lot of this stage 2 that has only been announced via a media statement was coming into play. Now, there's, as we know, facts are facts and devil's in detail. All that we have is that the Premier of Queensland and the Housing Minister released a media statement on Sunday, the 4th of February, mid-late morning, and basically, pretty much, they didn't say the words, but stage 2 is of tenancy law reform has been announced. Now, forgive me for looking away every now and then. I'll just be referring to a couple of notes. On my website, realestateexcellence.com.au, plus I posted on socials, plus emailed out to our free industry mailing list, which of course valued members of Real Estate Excellence you are a part of. We have 2 mailing lists. One's a free industry update where we give a lot to the industry, but not to the detriment, of course, to our members. And members, you have a separate mailing list. But just moving forward, on Sunday, the 4th of February, the Premier, again with the Housing Minister, the headline for the media statement was Homes for Queenslanders, Miles Government backs renters. Now, there's going to be, as always, changes change, the world won't end, but there's going to be quite a bit of change, I suspect, in stage 2, which we've long suspected. You must remember that we had the, and forgive me, some of you weren't in the wonderful industry at the stage, but we had a very long review in the past under the Labor government who've been with us for many years now in Queensland. We knew in November 2019, after the world's biggest review, after they collated it, that will be in 2 stages. So stage 1 we know was delayed due to COVID from March 2020, and then it was picked up in June 2021 and put in through Parliament and did its thing and moved forward with stage 1 commencing October 2022. Now, we've been waiting, obviously, since then, knowing that stage 2 was most likely to happen. Now, we also know that we're in an election year in Queensland. We go to the polls in October this year, and the Labor government have got enough time to get their agenda through that's long been many years set. So basically, a couple of points to point out. We still haven't got the bill. Now, the bill is the legislation to amend the RTRA Act and create new law as needed under these stage 2 reforms. So the bill's not yet released. So the devil's in the detail. They're the facts. All we've got now is, if I may say, headlines. And I just ask you to be careful with headlines. Of course, I don't mean any disrespect. We're all adults. But just be careful of not being misled or frustrated or, by headlines. And as I say, until we get the bill that will be introduced to Parliament, I suspect next week, I don't know. Parliament sits in Queensland for the first time next week. I suspect it will be introduced, and it's got to go through its democratic Westminster system thing, which is very critical. But what's also critical is it's a Labor bill to amend the RTRA Act. It will take some time, as process does for such change, so many changes. And we've got a majority Labor government in Queensland at the moment until the next state election, and what will be there. We'll deal with that separately. So the facts are the facts. The stage 2, we were asked last year, I think it was about the 19th of April 2023, was when the then Housing Minister released stage 2 consultation, and we all had until, I think it was end of May 2023 to have our say. Now, all of what I'm saying in brief is on my website, realestateexcellence.com.au, under the RTRA Act review tab. So just getting straight to the short, sharp facts, if I may use that word loosely, but they are. So stage two, we knew basically a lot of stage two as headlines only and a little bit of detail from November 2019. We also knew what we know in brief now via the media statement, the 4th of February 2024, as it was brought up in the stage two consultation from April-May last year. So behind the scenes, of course, the government have been collating all the feedback and then making policy decisions and then creating or drafting legislation to be introduced to Parliament under a bill before it is passed and becomes law with a then commencement date. So part of what we know is creating a framework for tenants to install modifications, and that was a big two-part in the stage two consultation last year. And that was supposed to be stage one, but it was held over to stage two. Protecting renters, they use the term in the media statement, renters' rights, by requiring 48 hours notice for entry. As you know, there's a number of provisions in the current RTRA Act that are 24 hours, so there will be amendments to some of them in relation to making it 48 hours. There'll also be prescribed form for application forms, and as opposed to you using yours, I use mine, whatever. So there'll be a prescribed. Prescribed means law. The government put a prescribed form, Form 9, Form 18A, an application form. Limit reletting costs based on how long is left on the fixed term contract, on the lease. So basically, you know now that it's a breach of agreement, ending agreement early, and nothing prevents the tenant doing that. And then they're sought for compensation for loss of rent and or expenses incurred by the lessor. Now that'll all go, and it will be limiting costs, and it will be based on percentages, I dare say, but I'll wait with you and learn with you later on the reletting costs. Insurer tenants have a free option to pay rent and a choice about how they also apply for property. Like instead of people saying go online, they may say, no, I don't want to go online. And also their services such as water, there'll finally be, which I think is a positive, a prescribed time frame for lessors to pass on water accounts and other matters, so that they're coming as well. So there'll also be, which is quite curious, some of this, but ensure a new portable bond scheme. Don't be alarmed. I'm not alarmed too much about that. The words can be alarming and fearful and all that, but I'm sure there'll be reasonable factors in relation to if there needs to be a claim on the bond for monies owing, etc. So again, I'll wait for the detail. Now, a new code of conduct for lessors and agents, property managers. So new rental sector code of conduct to set clear expectations to foster appropriate and professional practices in Queensland's rental market. Now, as agents, property managers, licensees, you and I know that we're regulated primarily by the Office of Fair Trading. Our main law is the Property Occupations Act regulations and, of course, the Agents Financial Administration Act regulations. So the RTRA regulate as such us, but this is going to be interesting, obviously, because there will be some overlapping of regulation, no doubt with fair trading, I'm not sure yet. But a code of conduct, which is basically will be probably a regulation part of the Act. But again, I'll learn with you once we get the facts and the detail. Now, banning of rent bidding. Now, that's confusing for some of us. I know at the first it was for me in like the last 48 hours. It's not even been 48 hours since this has been released when I'm recording this to you. But Section 57 of the RTRA Act came in many years ago. I actually think 2007, when the mining boom and stuff was happening at the time, and all allegations which were never proven that there was rent bidding. Now, Section 57 is the appropriate section where it says we must go to market at a fixed rental amount. We can't negotiate, can't put negotiable, can't put price ranging, can't say, hey, Betty, the tenant, give us an offer, what do you reckon? We can't do that. It's a criminal offence. It's an offence provision under the RTRA Act and has been for a long time. But what I suspect and what it looks like happening is, as you know, tenants, a free marketplace, the property might go to market at 500 and then Betty, the tenant, puts an application in at 520. It's looking like, don't hold me to this yet, it's looking like it's possible that we won't be able to accept from Betty on behalf of the lessor the extra 520, but we'll see what happens with that one. Stronger renter rights to be delivered through amendments with living safely and securely within their home, and have confidence their privacy is protected. I'm reading the government words. So basically, there's also going to be, you may recall, we had another review. We had a very snap amendment to the RTRA Act last year with the rent increase law. And basically with that, and it was actually the now Premier who put that through in April, but it commenced July 1, 2023, that rent cannot increase in a 12-month period if the same tenant or tenants are in the property. It was only about 12 days into the commencement that they called a review, and they'd never asked for consultation first, but I won't go too political now. Let's just stick to the facts, and you and I can deal with that later. But in short, the Section 93 that was amended July last year commenced relates to the 12-month tenancy. Now, they then reviewed it and in August, and we've finally got an outcome there. And it looking like that the 12-month rent increase provision will go to the property, not the tenancy. So if I've got a 6-month tenant at 500, they move out, see you later, all the best. And then I get a new tenant in, the rent can't increase. So it will relate to the property, not the tenancy. But devil's in the detail, my friends. As I say, we're waiting for the bill. I suspect it will be introduced to Parliament next week or very near future, but I'll learn with you, as I say. And I'm very excited that I'm about to hit the road. I just hit my 14th year in real estate excellence. Thank you for your support. And as usual, I do my half-day training property management excellence PME events throughout Queensland. And they're just about to start. And so stage 2 was already part of the agenda and our session plan for an update. So I'll be chatting more about this and drugs in rental property, QCAT president, the boss directions that we just recently got in recent months, QCAT Form 2 and more. So realestateexcellence.com.au. In closing, remember, this is going to take some time to get through Parliament and do its thing. There'll be a lot of education, a lot of information. It hasn't commenced. It was a bit alarming to see, with a kind heart and respect and understanding. A number of members of ours yesterday emailing us to say, well, you know, with these new laws commencing soon, well, hang on. We haven't even got the new laws yet. We've only got a media statement. So, and it's got a way to go. It won't commence July 1, etc., etc. So let's just take a breath and learn together and calmly. And we don't want investors to have any more fear than some may already have. The world won't end. We always work with these things. And as I say, the politics side of things and the disappointment. And there are a number of things that the Premier and the Housing Minister have said in media, in social media, and statements that have been very offensive, very unfair against our industry, and particularly about using the word dodgy and unprofessional practices. But, you know, they must be careful. We all know that every industry has a couple of dodgy, but we know in our industry, we know we have two. But most of us are really good people and work really hard and care about our people. So I'll leave that aside. Let's stick to the facts. No laws have commenced. We don't know all the facts. We know the headlines and all will be okay. So thank you for joining, members. A reminder that as per the member update every month, one of my most important services, that's going to be one of the main ways that I get information out to you once facts are known. And also, as I say, I'll be doing a lot of face-to-face training. I'll be doing the state 3 times this year, plus full-day events and more, but later. On my website, realestateexcellence.com.au, training events. And also, of course, the RTRA Act review. You'll see that link there. It's been running since 2012, that blog, but I won't go there. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. This is Stacey Holt from Real Estate Excellence, and bye for now.